Thinking about thrifting for a profit in 2026? It looks easy, right? Find something, find it cheap, flip it online, make money. Easy, right? Not exactly. The resale world has changed fast. And if you don't know what you're walking into, you can waste time, money, and storage space really quickly. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things you absolutely need to know before deciding to thrift for a profit in 2026. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you love thrifting, reselling, and smart side income strategies, you are in the right place. I have learned a lot over the past year through wins, mistakes, and what was I thinking? So let's save you from some of the painful mistakes I have made. Let's jump in. Number 1, thrift stores are smarter now and prices reflected. In 2026, thrift stores are not what they were 5 or 10 years ago. They have changed. Many stores now check eBay sold listings. They use pricing apps. They separate premium and inventory. They even sell a lot of the good things online. So what does that mean for you? It means that you are going to see higher base prices, fewer obvious steals and deals, and more picked over shelves. But we can turn that around and make it into something positive because profit is still there. It is in knowledge. You need category expertise, not just a good eye anymore. Let me give you an example. Instead of looking for, let's say, cheap shoes, you want to look for specific models of trail runners, hiking boots, or niche brands. Moving on to number 2, not everything sells, even if it's cool. That surprises beginners, and it surprised me in the beginning too. This means that just because something is vintage, it's name brand, it's rare, cute, or it was even originally expensive, doesn't necessarily mean that it will sell quickly or that it will sell at all. In 2026, buyers are more selective and comparison shopping is easier than ever before. Before you buy something, here are some things to check. First, you want to check sold listings. Just because you find something listed doesn't mean that it will necessarily sell. You always want to check how many of those items have actually sold. You want to look at the sell-through rate. How many items are listed compared to how many items have actually sold? You want to look at shipping costs versus item value. And you also want to pay attention to current demand trends. Here's a good rule of thumb. If you wouldn't be excited to ship it, don't buy it. Number 3, fees and shipping will eat your profit if you ignore them. So let's talk about how much money you actually make. Let's pretend I buy an item for $5 and I sell it for $30. That doesn't mean that I just made a $25 profit. Instead, what that means is I have to think about all the prices, all the things I've paid for in association with that sale. So for example, I paid $5 for my product. If you are not charging shipping, you are going to be including that or taking that away from the $30. Now, I do not do that. Most of my selling is on eBay. So in addition to the sale, I charge the person purchasing the product for shipping. So they are completely paying for the shipping. Now, something that you do want to be careful about if you are listing on eBay is you make sure that when you estimate the cost of shipping, which it gives you a little calculator to do that you pay attention to that. Usually it's not an issue, but I have underestimated, especially when things weigh more than what I expected them to weigh. So we always want to pay careful attention and remember that we, in addition to buying the product, are paying for things like shipping supplies, eBay, or whatever platform that you sell on will be taking a cut of your profit. So you want to take all of that into consideration, but shipping is a big area you want to pay careful attention to. Number 4, speed beats perfection. A lot of resellers, new resellers, get stuck with thinking they have to have everything perfect before they can list something. And this is not true. And I have learned this the hard way. For example, sometimes when you are new to the reselling world, you feel like you've got to have perfect photos, perfect descriptions, perfect systems, perfect inventory spreadsheets. And I am here to tell you, you do not. As a matter of fact, I began to see my sales increase when I stopped worrying about the trivial things that really, in the grand scheme of things, don't matter. In 2026, consistency wins over perfection. You're going to make money when you are listing items on a consistent, regular basis. This is consistent over time. And I actually feel like I have cracked the code on just how many items you need to list to get sales every day. And I'm going to be doing a separate video about that. You want to see your inventory turning over. And you want to see, you don't need to be concerned about things like how pretty your storage room is or how pretty your bins are. We want to be moving products. So the better approach is this. We want to list fast, improve as you go, refine your system later. Done makes money. Perfect does not. Number 5, your niche matters more than ever before. So especially in the beginning, when you first start buying to resell, you want to be very specific on the things you are looking for and educate yourself on the value of those things. The most successful thrifters in 2026 are not general pickers. They're actually niche specialists. Here are some examples of things that you might want to consider to be your niche. Things like outdoor gear, plus size fashion, vintage kitchenware, Christian books and devotionals, athletic shoes, menswear brands, travel gear, or even craft supplies. When you know your niche, you are able to spot value faster. You price correctly, you avoid bad buys, which is important, and you build repeat buyers. Start broad, then narrow your search based on what sells for you. In the beginning, I actually started reselling clothing. But I have to be honest, I was completely overwhelmed. When I would go look for products to purchase, I would just spend hours sifting through all of the shirts and all of the pants and all of the sweaters, basically just looking for brand names. And I wasted a lot of time, and I also wasted money because I acquired a lot of inventory that just did not move quickly at all. But as I began to be more specific about the things that I was looking for, and I actually moved to looking for more hard goods, my shopping trips were much faster. It was easier and quicker for me to find comps and sell-through rates on things. I started to see products going out of my eBay store more quickly. And the nice thing is, don't worry about getting bored about shopping in just one area. Over the past year, I've noticed for myself that my education about different areas has grown, and I have learned so much about lots of different products. So the good thing is, when I go into a thrift store and I go to my first 2 or 3 areas that I always look, if I'm not finding anything of particular value in those areas, I simply go to newer parts of the thrift store that I haven't thrifted in the past, and I start researching and learning about different areas. But in the beginning, it is very important to niche down, to be very specific about what you are looking for. If you're thinking about starting to thrift and flip for a profit in 2026, start small. Track your numbers and focus on learning, not just earning. I can tell you from experience, after doing this just over a year, I feel so much better about this than I did last January. I have learned so much. It is so much easier for me to find things, and I am selling things in my store almost every single day. Some of the things that I like to talk about in my videos are things like this. I also take you shopping with me to show you as I sift through things and look for finds. And I also share with you videos of things that have actually sold in my eBay store. So if you like that kind of content, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel. Now, for the rest of this video, I wanted to take you to a couple of thrift stores that I visited recently, and you can see just exactly how I thrift and flip for a profit.
This is cute. I'm always attracted to birdhouses. I already have a lot of them, but I just always think birdhouses are cute. This is a little elephant here. Ooh, this is kind of neat. I don't know if it's like a desktop box or what it is. Still kind of neat. Little wooden fish. Oh, look at these little turtles. These are cute. They have like little bobbleheads. Woodpile fin tortoise. These are cute. They are $1.99. I'll look these up and see what I can find. So the little turtles that I found a second ago, they are evidently Hobby Lobby. So I've moved on to blankets. Now, at this store, their linens are much more expensive than what I like to pay. So, for example, this is $7.99, and I would not pay that. I found another little tapestry blanket here. Let's see, where is its price? It was like $7.99 too. And then this blanket here is actually $14.99. So they are actually pretty pricey on their linens. So probably won't pick any of those up here. So I was intrigued by this elephant. It looks kind of like a little concrete elephant, and they're only asking $1.99. Well, here is the tip for you. A lot of times on the tags, it'll say when this item was actually put out, and it looks like that this has been on the floor since December 22nd. So that is kind of a good indication that it may not be that valuable. I looked this up and I was able to find one kind of similar to it. It was worth like $16. But if you see something that has been out for a while, you know that other people have probably checked comps and things, so that kind of gives you an idea. So this just randomly caught my eye, and it is like a little turkey with an activity thing, and it's got a little book in there. You can see that originally it came from Bed Bath & Beyond. It was $40, and I looked these up, and they actually resell quite well. Most of them resell for around $40. They're asking $5.99 for it, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the cart. So I found this Irish Homecraft 100% naturally oiled wool. It's made in Ireland, and I checked comps for this. This is an extra large, and these resell for anywhere between $40 and $60. Now I will give you guys a hint. Anytime you're buying like a sweater to resell, always look over it very carefully, because it's really easy to miss like holes or flaws. So before you purchase it, always just make sure to check for any flaws or holes. But I think I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. Alright, here are some things that sold. I sold this extra small American Eagle brown belt for $15. I'm pretty sure I paid $1 for this, and I just listed this a few days ago, so this was a hot item. And then I sold this laptop sleeve, picked this up. I maybe paid $1 for this, and it sold for $20.99. If you like content about thrifting for a profit, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Have a great rest of your day.